Hey guys, it is Dylan from Yugioh Everything or Clueless Gamers, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. I am joined today by two other YouTubers, two people that I know pretty well in the community. You know him, he's been on the show before, Legendary Duels. I will link both of their channels below. They'll give in the outro, so I hope you stay for the whole video, their whole spiel, what they do on YouTube, and where you can follow them on various social media sites. And the other person that is joining me is YugiMon Cards. That is his YouTube channel, so definitely check him out as well. We will just be referring to him as Sam during this video. So thank you guys both so much for coming on. Today we are going to discuss things that are based on the 118 to 121 spoilers, and those include what Jack, now that we know Jack Atlas is coming back, what his role in Arc 5 will be going forward, going down the road, and maybe touching on other returning characters as well. If this show has a bad pacing issue, because all of a sudden I've gotten a lot of comments, and I agree with it personally. That's probably the one I'll give my kind of rant on, where you have a situation with Ruri and Shun getting one episode, Yugioh and Rin getting one episode, and this duel against a battle beast might be a 3-4-parter duel, which to me is just crazy, but we'll get into that later in the duel. Another topic will be, where has Yuri been? We have not seen Yuri since episode 106. We know up to 121 he will not be making an appearance at all. If he does, it's a very short, brief appearance that doesn't even get mentioned in the spoilers. So what has he been doing? What duels will he be? What duels will he be involved in down the road in Arc 5? And finally, if we do have enough time at the end, will a Yuya versus brainwashed Yuzu duel happen? And if it does happen, do you want it to happen? Or, I should say, instead of do you want it to happen, what are your expectations if that duel does happen? What do you want to see happen in that duel? So you guys are free to answer in the comments below. You can check the description as well. There will be timestamps in the description for these 4 topics if you just want to skip along and go to a topic that interests you. Of course, I recommend, and I hope most of you will listen to the whole podcast, because I think there's going to be a lot of great ideas, and it's the first time where I'm doing this with more than one other person. This is with 2 people. When the big batch of spoilers come out, I wouldn't mind doing it with 2, 3, maybe even 4 more people, just to get more thoughts in it. So this is just kind of a work in progress segment, but it's great. Again, thank you guys both for coming on, and we're going to just get right into it. So Jack Atlas, the spoilers you're seeing right in front of you right now, Jack Atlas is back. The king is back. He is going to, in 121, take over for Gongenzika, who has been wounded, and fights with Yuya against the Battle Beast and, as we know, Sanders. Now, Jack Atlas is an interesting character. He was a pretty prominent character in the Synchro arc. Maybe not as prominent or just as prominent as Crow. Those were both really, I would say in terms of screen time, Crow probably outdid him, but in terms of dueling and just being put on a higher arc, Jack was definitely the guy in charge. So what role is Jack Atlas, and any other returning characters for that matter, going to play in this show? Do you think Jack is going to get carded? Do you think any other returning characters will get carded? Asuka, Kaido, any of those characters? But we're really going to more focus on Jack. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let me know. Legendary Duels, I'm going to start with you. Jack Atlas, he's back. Both of you, Legendary Duels and Sam, told me that Jack would be back. I didn't really believe it. I was clearly wrong. So he is back. I'm glad he's back. And so, Legendary Duels, what role do you think Jack Atlas is going to play in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 down the road?
That's kind of a difficult question to really answer, because there's not really much of a necessary role other than just, being a part of the Lancers and, just fighting with them, joining alongside them, trying to save the dimensions and whatnot. So it's just very difficult to say. Now, one of the interesting things about Jack is, he's coming back now, but he wasn't introduced with everyone else who came, Reiji, Crow, he wasn't with them. So that kind of leaves some questions like, okay, so why wasn't he with them on the boat when they went to go save Yuya from the pirate ship and all this stuff? So that is kind of strange. So one of my thoughts is maybe he has maybe Reiji has something planned out specifically for Jack. Maybe before they left the Synchro arc, they had to work something out. They had a plan, and Jack was probably assigned maybe by Reiji to do a specific task. Either he's still at the Synchro dimension doing something else that he needs to go get, maybe, or maybe once they got to the fusion dimension, they went their separate ways, and maybe Reiji, who knows, maybe he might have told him, hey, go to the go find a way to Academia or go find some other people. It's hard to say because I don't really know what it could possibly be that he could go and retrieve, or what he could possibly be doing to go by himself. I don't know, but that would be one of my assumptions. Is probably Reiji asked him, hey, can you do this favor for me and this and that, and that's why he wasn't with them on the boat, and that's why he's coming a little bit later, and he's going to come in one of the, what is it, 118 or 120?
121.
121, okay. So that's a couple episodes from now, so, it's just really strange that he didn't come with them. So my only theory is that he was assigned to do something else, and that's why he's coming later, because he can't travel through dimensions. I mean, we could say that Akaba Reiji... Sam, do you have something to say?
Yes. I personally feel that maybe Reiji, sorry to interrupt, but maybe Reiji has sent Jack to possibly look for Yugioh. Yugioh, he knows that Yugioh is somewhere. He probably doesn't think he's in Xyz because something would have happened or he would have been taken by then. He's obviously not in Standard and he wasn't in Synchro. I think he probably sent Jack because, number one, if he was to encounter any Obelisk Force members, with his Red Dragon Archfiend Scarrite, his ability is able to destroy giant fields of monsters and deal so much damage. In the duel with Yugioh, when the Duel Chasers appeared, he was able to deal, I think, over 50,000 points of damage with one effect. So it looks like Jack is able to take down big, massive amounts of enemies. And I feel maybe he sent him to either look for Yugioh or to find an alternative way to the island in case something happens with Reiji or Yugioh. That's just what I've been thinking personally. Back to you, Legendary Duels.
Well, I will say this before you go into Legendary Duels. I do find it kind of weird, and I think people in the comments, when I did my 118 to 121 analysis and all that stuff, I think they found it weird too on kind of how did Jack get to Academia? It had to be Reiji left him with the technology. That's really the only answer. So did Reiji have a plan for Jack Atlas? Does he have a plan for Jack Atlas really is the question. I think we kind of all agree on that. Whether that plan was to find Yugioh and maybe save Yugioh, or, unless Reiji has an alternate motive, but I don't think any of us think that. To save Yugioh, was that the plan? It could have been the plan. It seems Jack, there was always an alternate motive for Jack because he wasn't on the boat. If there was no alternate motive, he would have just been with Crow. He would have came with Crow. He would have came with everyone on that boat when they dueled Captain Solo. So I like that kind of theory right there, Sam, that maybe it is for Yugioh. And even if that's not correct, as you said earlier, Legendary Duels, there has to be a reason why Reiji was not did not bring Jack along with him right from the start.
Another theory I also have, sorry for interrupting you, both of you, sorry, that maybe he realizes that Jack and Yugioh have a stronger connection than any of these other Lancers. Jack is shown to be somewhat of a mentor/father figure, and maybe he has some sort of plan to either find Yugioh or something and maybe remind Yugioh if Yugioh happens to either go in berserk mode or becomes depressed again after since Yuzu has been taken. I feel Jack may be, like Zane did or Marufuji, dueled Jaden in GX. He may do another duel, just one maybe final one, just to snap Yugioh out of some either little depressed state or something like that. That's just another theory.
That would be awesome.
Back to you guys.
Would be awesome.
And that would also fulfill the battle in Trump card where we saw the Scarrite versus Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. That could also be something.
I mean, with the intros, the intros are rather iffy because they don't always necessarily say exactly what's going to happen the right way. So that's one of those things. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Reiji has something planned for Jack. I mean, Reiji did go to the Synchro Dimension specifically, other than to find Yuzu, but also to find other people to fight for them, strong people. Obviously, he was the king, the best duelist out of the whole Synchro arc. He's the best in that whole universe, I guess, in that whole dimension. So clearly he's very strong. So now that Reiji found a very strong Synchro duelist from the Synchro Dimension, he has something special specifically planned for him. So once again, I really have no idea what that could be. Probably to retrieve somebody or something, or to probably annihilate a bunch of enemies all at once by surprise. I don't know. It could really be anything. It's kind of hard to really say, but I'm pretty sure Reiji has something planned out for him. And if not, then I kind of wouldn't really understand why he wouldn't have come with him in the first place. But those are my thoughts on Jack, and his relevance is just to fight alongside the Lancers, and maybe it's kind of like a secret weapon thing for Reiji. I mean, we have Reiji, who his power is practically undetermined at this point, and then on top of that we have Jack, who's the strongest duelist of the Synchro Dimension. That's two very strong duelists. He has a very strong army right now, Reiji. A small army, but a very strong army. So even if it was just Jack and Reiji alone and Yuya, like, that's already strong enough. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Jack and his role in the show as of right now. But I am looking forward to seeing what he does from this moment on, and how I do. Oh, to answer your question, I do not see him getting carded. I mean, let's be real. He's the king of the Synchro Dimension. Yeah, he lost to Yuya, but that was for plot purposes, and it kind of needed to happen, and it was great the way it was done. But he's too powerful, I think, to lose to just some regular Academy members. I mean, lately the villains in Academy haven't really been all that. So, other than Yuri, who we have not really fully seen his full strength or much of him. So, yeah, definitely, I think Jack is just not going to get carded at all. But those are my thoughts. I'm done now.
All right. Well, thank you, Legendary Duels. Sam, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Talking about the Yuri thing, Jack, we're giving him a bit too much credit. Jack is one of the few duelists in this show that can deal with so many duelists, due to, number one, being able to take down a lot of duelists in one time, and two, having so much protection. If Star Venom were to use some of its effects or something to negate or attack or destroy, because it wasn't shown yet, but in the anime, if it leaves the field, it destroys all special summon monsters the opponent controls. That hasn't been quite shown yet, but it will most likely be shown. And Jack is shown with that red crystal card and that red gardener card and probably some more, to be able to protect Scarrite in any situation. So I personally don't see him getting carded at all.
Okay, so now before we move on to the next topic, which is the pacing issue, I want to just ask you guys, 45 seconds on the clock for each of you. Sam, I'm going to start with you. Returning characters, Kaido, Asuka, Edo, Crow, Jack, do you see any of them getting carded by the end of the show?
Asuka, yes. Crow, most likely not. Jack, no. Edo, maybe. I feel he may go back to the professor and plead with something, try and smile or something, and he'll get someone to just card him. And Kite, most likely? I don't know. I feel he may do Yuri. I don't see him getting too many duels because... Sorry, I'm probably going over my 45 seconds. But in the space of 17 episodes, Kite has had about 7 duels or something.
Right.
And I don't feel they're going to show him that much, because he's now becoming sort of a protagonist. He's had more duels in Season 3 than Yuya has. Yuya has at this point had 6. Kite has had 7, and I don't feel him getting too many more. Sorry for going over my limit.
No, don't worry about it. Legendary Duels?
Yeah. Edo maybe. Crow maybe might get carded. Definitely Asuka, because at this point she hasn't done anything, and I don't think they're gonna redeem her at any point, because they're doing what they're doing to Yuzu, which is like not giving her any time at all to even defend themselves. So I don't see Jack getting carded. Kaito, that's kind of a hard one, just because it's Kaito. Like, he's just undefeated, and as much as I love him, I also don't like that he's just undefeated. Maybe they will give him one loss like they did in Zexal, and they'll be like, oh, he gets one loss here too, and only one. Or maybe they'll just make him undefeated. But it's kind of hard to see him carded, because at this point, it's like they just keep giving him all the duels, and they keep giving him all these victories, and even when it's not necessary for him to get that duel or victory, like the duel with Dennis, or even the duel with, I guess the Moon Diana, like Shun could have been there too. I'm just happy that he's not gonna duel Ruri. It seems like Shun's gonna be there, thank God, because that I would not have liked that. It would be interesting, but I wouldn't have liked that. So, yeah, those are the people I think could possibly get carded, but I don't see Kaito's an iffy one. It's too iffy for me to even think about right now, because of how they're writing him. The writers are giving him so much love and respect. and they're giving him too much, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm done now.
All right, well, that's fair. I'll do a quick lightning one. Edo, maybe. Kaido, maybe. I really thought Kaido was when he first got introduced, but now I'm kind of on the fence about it. Asuka, absolutely. I think we all kind of agree that out of all 5 of them, Asuka's the one in most trouble. Jack and Crow, I don't really think so. But you guys in the comments let us know, out of all the returning characters, all 5 that we've seen so far, are any of them in danger of getting carded? And if someone's going to get carded, is it going to be Asuka, or do you guys maybe think it'll be someone else? But anyway, let's move on to the next topic. An issue that I have had personally is maybe, I guess, the pacing, you would say. And what I mean by the pacing is you have Yugioh and Rin. By the way, everyone, we are recording this before episode 117. Episode 117 airs in less than 5 hours. We are recording this before 117. But based on the spoilers, it seems Rin and Yugioh are going to duel in 117. Rin isn't even on the cast list, which I did my analysis for that earlier today, in 118. So something is going to happen to Rin, where she's either going to get separated again or get, carded, if you really want to talk grimness. But I don't think she'll get carded. But I guess I'm just saying all possibilities. That duel, what I'm getting at, 1 episode. That's all it is. Ruri and Shun does not seem to start in 118 because, again, they're not on the cast list in 118. So that duel is going to be in 119, and that seems like it's going to be 1 episode. Then in 120, we have Yuya and Gongenzaga versus this guy called the Battle Beast. In 121, they're still versing the Battle Beast. That's when Jack comes, and that's when Sanders gets in on the duel. That duel very well could drip into 122. So you have this duel with Yuya against some guy that we don't know, that might be a one-off character, and a guy named Sanders, who I guess is supposed to be kind of a menacing villain, a menacing, trainer, if you will, of the duel.
KFC.
Yeah, well, Colonel Sanders, as you pointed out to me, earlier, which I guess is a theory that they named him that in himself. But I'll tell you, this is an issue for me, and I'm gonna ask you about it. Legendary Duels, but I'm just gonna give my piece first. A lot of people in the comments were upset about this, and I'm upset about it as well. I think that the Rin and Yugioh duel should have at least gotten 2 episodes, at least 1.5 episodes, where the Ruri and Shun duel should have gotten the same amount of time. I actually think it is really, really poor that they are only getting 1 episode. Based on the summaries, that's what it seems like at least. And maybe it's a situation where Ruri and Shun do get separated, where Rin does get separated from Yugioh, and they have another duel, or a big, Battle Royale 4 vs 4 duel down the road. I don't think that would happen, but maybe it would. And then maybe I'll say, all right, I guess it was setting up for that duel. But we've waited so long for these characters. Rin and Ruri, live action, both introduced in episode 116. Rin, again, is not in the cast list for 118, while Yugioh is, so you have to assume they get separated or something happens to Rin, which means we have been teased about Rin since maybe episode 30. I don't know the exact episode off the top of my head, but it's been at least
37.
37. Thank you very much. There's the clutchness right there. So actually, that works out perfectly. That's 80 episodes. She has been teased for 80 episodes, and they finally show her. And Ruri's been earlier than that. Yeah, I know. Ruri, I think episode 7,
18?
right? 8, maybe it was 8.
No, 7.
It was
yeah.
7, right? When he dueled Shingo. Yeah. So that's been.
We didn't see her face till 75.
That's what it was, right? And now we see her in live action 110 episodes later, and you're giving her 1 duel. She doesn't even have a speaking role in the episode that's airing tonight, according to the cast list. She's probably just going to push Kaido off the ledge, which will be a really hilarious moment for me. Not that I hate Kaido, but it'll just be really funny if they do it well. And
memes will rip apart the fandom.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you have such a strong character like Kaido being pushed off a freaking cliff by Ruri, and then I guess Shun will save Kaido. That's the only thing that I get from the preview. But to me, maybe it won't be an issue with you two. Real issue for me, and I know it's an issue for a lot of people in the comments, that you've waited 110 episodes and 80 episodes for Ruri and Rin, and you finally have built it up perfectly. And I thought 116 was a magnificent episode, if you guys have seen my review. I praised that episode, and now according to this, we're only getting 1 episode of Rin. Something's going to happen to her. 1 episode of Ruri, and then 120 and 121 has nothing to do with them. And in the meantime, you're giving Yuya more screen time, more duels, which again, I don't hate Yuya, but I think a lot of people wouldn't mind seeing the other characters just kind of carry the script for a little bit. And again, that's based off a lot of the comments I get, and I do agree with that on a personal level. So Legendary, I'm going to ask you, do you have an issue with the pacing and with what I just kind of said, or are you kind of okay with it?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not okay with the pacing. I was okay with it before, with the Xyz dimension kind of, going really fast. But, I was kind of okay with that just because, it's already destroyed. There's not much left to do there. And the Synchro arc lasted a long time. So I kind of don't blame it for being a little short. But, once it moved into the fusion dimension, it needed to take I feel like it needs to take its time with it, because this is the big moment. This is what we've been striving for. Get to Academia. That's what we've been striving for. This is the big moment for the whole series, is getting to Academia, and the war begins for the dimensions, or whatever the case may be. So I have a problem with the most recent pacing, which is how the whole duel with Yugioh and Rin, which is about to happen, which looks like it's going to be one episode, which I'm also very disappointed on, because this is something they've been building up for. So why not spend more time on an episode like that? It just seems wrong to not give them that time. Like I feel like it should be like you said, either 1 or 2 episodes or 1.5. I completely agree with you, because this is a big moment. This isn't something to just, toss to the side. And some of the future episodes that are going to happen with Sanders, it seems like that's going to be a pretty big event that's going to last 2-3 episodes, maybe 4, depending, it's a 5v5 or whatever. So, it's going to be a pretty big deal. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a big deal right now. The Ruri and Rin versus, the Rin and Yugioh versus Shun and Ruri. Those are big moments. And on giving them that amount of time. This is not something. This is a climactic moment, I feel. Unless they're, like you said, planning something for later, and this is not going to be the last time we're going to see them duel or whatever. But I just think it's a failed opportunity to give us a great show. And I honestly don't know what they're doing in terms of the writing. I'm not disrespecting them. I'm sure they have a plan set in motion. Hopefully, I'm hoping that they have a good plan for it. But I really don't like the fact that it's just one episode. It just kind of annoys me. And I also, unlike you, Dylan, I feel like 116, although it was a really great episode, it was written perfectly. I just, I even said it in my review. I didn't like the fact that it was just it was really just an OTK. It was a 1-turn kill. It was a 2-turn duel on both duels, and they just got knocked out in the very next turn. They weren't even threatening or strong at all. It wasn't even a fight to really get to the girls, and they gave them such an epic loss. With Neo Galaxy Eyes and the regular Galaxy Eyes attacking Diana from the skies, and the beautiful animation, and that seemed like a finale for a really important duel, and that wasn't a really important duel because it was an OTK 2-turn duel. It wasn't something important. Therefore, I didn't feel it deserved that kind of respect to get that type of moment. It didn't feel right to me, because I've watched all the Yu-Gi-Oh series, and I love those big moments, but that wasn't a big moment. They gave it to the wrong type of duel. And the same, with Yugo defeating Apollo. It's and that was really cool too. Well animated, gorgeous. But what was the point? It wasn't a big deal. So I don't know. It's just, I feel like the way that I feel like they could go a little bit slower right now. With this, I understand there's only a couple episodes left. We're until spring. Right now, we're not even at the fall. So they could go a little bit slower, take their time. I don't know why they're giving so much time to the Sanders stuff, but maybe it's something really big. But even so, I feel like this is even bigger. But those are my thoughts on it. I do feel like the pacing is a bit rushed. A bit rushed. And they're not giving enough spotlight to what the viewers are considering important duels. And they're focusing more on non-important duels that aren't as important as these climactic moments. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, Legendary. Except I will try to make a little bit of a rebuttal for the 116. I didn't get a chance to watch your review yet. I do apologize. I do plan on watching it soon. But I will say this, the animation was great. And to me, the duels weren't really meant... the episode was more to me about the whole Rin and Ruri reunion thing, which, again, I would have much rather seen Shun, and I'm sure you probably agree with that. And I also think, to a degree, those duelists maybe weren't even supposed to be that strong, because once they're defeated, the Doctor smiles, assuming he's the Doctor, and Leo Akaba doesn't show any signs of panic, almost like they wanted Apollo and Diana to be defeated. Whereas if they really didn't want those duelists to be defeated and they wanted to keep those girls away from Yugioh and Kaido and anyone who might come, then they would have put maybe Yuri or really strong people to guard them. So I think maybe those duelists were hyped up as stronger than, or as weaker, or as stronger, than they actually were. And I think they were maybe a lot weaker because I think the plan was for them to lose the entire time. But that's all I'm going to say. It's a good transition right here because we're going to transition into the next topic. And it has to do, actually, do you have something you want to add, Legendary, real quick to that?
Yes. I do agree that they weren't important. My complaint is not really with the fact that they were defeated in one turn. It's the finale. How they ended the duel was much better than how many other duels in the past have been ended. You know how Yu-Gi-Oh has those climactic moments that, you know, it's like these huge losses, like you see like beautiful animation and there's all this wonderful choreography, I guess. I don't know if that's the right term, but like the way it was finished, that duel was, if they were not meant to be important, then why were they ended off in such a important, like, stunning way? Like, it didn't make any sense to me from me watching Yu-Gi-Oh all my life. It was like, why was this so important that you went so hard on this duel when they were supposed to be, you know, not very important and kind of just like maybe pawns just to, you know, for the Doctor to get in the way of them for whatever reason. But yeah, that's my main point. It's like I didn't feel like how they were ended was deserving of how unimportant the duel actually was.
I definitely get what you're saying. Sam, do you have anything you want to add?
About both of them, actually. Firstly, the animation. I feel the reason they used animation is that they were trying to give us properly the experience of either Kite or Yugioh, because to them, these are really, really important duels, saving the people that they cherish and care about. And I feel it was like to give us the experience of them. I know it's probably not a really good explanation, and I don't feel that they deserved such beautiful animation and such a climactic ending as that. If that's the word, really. It's hard to explain, but I honestly feel that that might be the reason. Yu-Gi-Oh does do that sometimes, where they try and show us what the actual duelists themselves feel.
Mm-hmm.
And about the Yugioh, Rin, Shun, Ruri duel, I honestly am not that upset that they're taking that much longer, because my theory is that it's going to be sort of like Jack versus Carly, where Rin and Ruri try and manipulate Yugioh and Shun. Shun is at this moment probably going to be still injured and sick from his thing, and that's what I feel at the end. The big but is, I feel that his stomach or something might start to give way. And I feel that will lead on to Dylan's theory, where Yugioh and Rin and possibly even Shun might join Academia against their wishes. I feel, one more thing, sorry.
No, you're good.
That if the people to duel either Yugioh or Shun, I feel it may be, again, Kite, and I feel it's possibly Jack for Yugioh. I know Jack is with the Lancers at this moment, but I feel that Jack isn't someone to just follow with another person. I'm sure that they probably changed his character in Arc 5, but if we look at his 5D's counterpart, if Jack is told to sit somewhere, he'll probably walk across the street somewhere and spend 3,500 yen on a cup of coffee, as we've seen on that. He is rebellious, and I feel he may say that because Yuya and Yuto are now known to realize Rin, and so is Reiji and Crow and all of them. And I feel they may go, that Rin girl and that Yugioh dude are in trouble. Jack, you might want to go. And I feel that's how Yugioh and possibly Rin will come back, because they'll remember trying the feeling to want to beat Jack, all their time working together on their duel runner, or D-wheel as it's called in the Japanese version, and all the effort and time they put into it as commons, and their childhood, how they looked up to Jack. But that's just a personal theory of mine.
Yeah, that's not a bad theory at all. It'll be definitely interesting to see what's going to happen. So you guys let us know in the comments do you think also that theory will come true? That was the theory I unveiled on the last podcast we did with the last batch of spoilers, where I think Yugo and Rin might fight for Academia. It'd be interesting to see if Shun and Rory would fight for Academia too. Man, it would definitely be interesting. But we're gonna move on. Legendary Duels kind of alluded to it at the end of what he was saying, where fans want to see more other characters duel instead of just Yuya, and I think they would have rather seen this duel go longer. Here's a character that I feel is a fan favorite of a lot, or a person that a lot of people want to see duel, and that is Yuri. The last time we saw Yuri was in 106. He came, he saw, and he conquered. He killed the 5 GX students. They didn't have a prayer, and he was about to assault Yuzu or take Yuzu to the professor. Yugo comes, Yuri teleports away. Haven't seen him since. It'll be 117 tonight, according to these summaries. No sign of Yuri. So the earliest we can see Yuri is 122, unless he comes very briefly, and it just wasn't mentioned in these summaries. We probably only have about 145 total episodes of Arc 5 if it's going to end in the spring, and I kind of calculated based off when GX 5Ds and Zexal ended. It usually
They
ends...
confirmed at least 150. Sorry,
Oh, they did? Oh, they did? Really?
They confirmed it. Kensho Ono, the voice of Yuya, has confirmed there's at least 150 episodes.
Oh, wow, that's all. Okay, I did not know that. Okay, so that kind of... Oh, that's awesome. Cool, because I was worried it was only going to go like 140. Okay, that's good. So there's at least 150. So it's going to go longer than it's going to go really towards the end of spring, because Zexal, 5Ds, and GX all ended at the very end of March. And if it ended at the very end of March and missed no episodes, it was going to go like 145. So this show could end up going into May and June. So that's that. Okay, that's good then. I guess that kind of
I
changes
predict possibly a few more hour specials, like the episode 99 100 one.
That would make sense.
I feel possibly the ending and maybe the final, maybe the episodes before the final duel will be 2 double episodes, or I think that's maths right. But I think there might be more double episodes since they now feel if any more stupid ping pong things happen, they may want to repay us like they did this time,
right?
By giving us that hour special.
Yeah, that very well could be what happens. So that'll definitely be interesting to see. But the question that I'm going to ask you, Sam, is Yuri. Again, haven't seen him now in 15 episodes, and even if it does end in 150, there's less than 30 episodes for him to do anything really. Who do you think he's going to duel? Who do you think he's going to maybe defeat in a duel? And what do you think he's going to do down the road? Will he end up turning on Academia? What do you think Yuri's motives are right now, and what do you think his next steps are going to be, so to speak?
I sent this to you on Skype a few days ago, and I've been more working on it now that I realize that Edo and all of them are in Academia. Everyone's in Fusion. I feel if that poster, I know everyone's saying that it's a TCG thing only.
And I'll sorry to interrupt you, but I'll show that poster right now so everyone
Yep.
who's watching can see it on screen.
It is very, very suspicious how Sawatari, Jack, Kite, and Edo are shown. It isn't normal. It's called the 20th Rival Collection, where they just have a new card from each of their decks, a new Red Dragon Archfiend, a new Destiny Hero, a new one of those. And it doesn't look like the cards that are evil at all. I don't really realize why possibly these are evil. And another thing that sorry, this is getting off Yuri, but this will lead into Yuri. A few cards in the set, one of them is based on the Crimson Devil, when it took the shape of Red Dragon Archfiend. You know the one I'm talking about in episode 112, I think it is?
Yes.
Where
yes.
it ate in Bomber's Dream. One of the cards is based on that, and that is obviously an evil thing. And I feel that Yuri may, if Jack separates, or Edo separates, or Kite separates, or Sawatari even separates, like you said, he may give him forgiveness or not forgiveness, but give him a choice. I feel he may duel either one of each of them, or have like a big duel with them, and then either beat them or be very, very close, and possibly do this mind control thing if the professor ends up giving him that power. I know it's probably very, very out there, but I have nothing else.
Well, let me say this.
Yep.
Let me say this. If Yuri duels in a 4 vs 1 duel against Jack, Edo, Kaido, and Shingo, and he wins that duel, I have no issue saying that Yuri is the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist in the history of any Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. And that is probably
like I said, it's very... Sorry.
And that, well, I'm just going to say, and that is probably the most impressive win any Yu-Gi-Oh! Character has gotten. So, and I know you're probably going to say it's probably not going to happen, but, you know, it's interesting. And
Probably not, but I've got nothing. I don't see him dueling Yugo, at least I feel that he might do Yugo around 133, 135. I don't feel it's going to happen within the next 10 episodes. I don't see him dueling Yuya, to be honest. I don't, because the thing is, Yuya's deck is very easily countered by Star Venom. And since it's a level 8, Old Eyes Rebellion won't work. The only thing that might work is Nirvana High Paladin, which they kind of look like they've abandoned, since they've literally called about 5 episodes after it aired Old Eyes Rebellion his strongest monster, even though they were all there seeing it. And I just feel that they wouldn't let Yuya lose to Yuri.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen with Yuri. It's interesting that you say that, because I kind of am on the 180 where you are. I think it would be crazy if that did happen, where that poster does come true, because as everyone has said, it is for the card game, but it is still interesting that they picked Edo and not Chaz, or not the Kaiser, and the Kaiser, Ryo Marufuji, as we know, did have
it's
a little...
Arc 5, it's Yuya's rivals. Sorry if you didn't know that.
Oh, that's what it is.
Only
Okay.
Yuya's rivals.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Or their Arc 5 counterparts, since one of them's a Cypher Blade Dragon, one of them's a new Destiny Hero Fusion, a new Abyss Actor, and a new Red Dragon Archfiend.
Okay, that makes sense then. So I guess that's fair. Yeah, and here's what I think is going to happen. I think Yuri, I still do believe this, Yuri is going to duel Yugo, unless that opening lied to us. The third opening lied to us when they showed Yuya versus Yugioh, excuse me. That didn't happen. Also, I think the second opening showed Yuto versus Reiji. I think they hinted at that as well, if I'm correct, and that never happened. So the openings do tend to lie. It's just interesting that this was so, like, it's in the very beginning of the opening, instead of the very ending when you had the Yuya Yugo thing, and even the Yuto Reiji hint in opening 2 was in the middle, and it was very
and even
brief.
the Jack Yuya Hot Eyes Rebellion Dragon thing.
Right,
I know they
right.
do those cards.
Yeah, they always seem to kind of not go with the openings, and that's fine, that's fair, and they've done that in
The thing is, sorry to interrupt, Light of Hope is the only opening, I think, since the first one that doesn't show a duel during the end sequence. Instead, it's Yugi just riding on the rainbow thing with all his performer pals. So I feel that the duels that they did show, or the duels that they did show in that thing, will most likely come to fruition.
Right, and now I don't know if you can confirm this, Sam, but is there a new opening and ending coming in the 6th one, coming in 126? Because that's what someone told me, but someone else told me it's not confirmed.
Nothing is confirmed at all, but I do predict that there won't be a 6th opening. Because this Arc 5 has been the show that has had openings last for the least amount of episodes. They only last for about 19, 20 episodes each. Well, think of 5Ds, The Last Train, and even Duel Monsters, the Warriors one. They lasted something around 60, 40, 50 episodes. So, and since the other thing that supports this is that they show Academia, I feel if they were to show Yuri versus Yugo and so much of Academia, they probably wouldn't put it in that opening, but save it for the 6th one. But they may prove me wrong in October, most likely. People are predicting like the 9th of October.
Right, well, I do hope there is a 6th. The openings and endings have been amazing, and I think there will be a 6th opening, because it'll be interesting if they just stick with this one for the last 50, 60 episodes, but we'll see. I guess you never know. But back onto topic, I think that Yuri is going to duel Yugo. I think he's going to defeat Yugo. I think that's when he's going to make his offer. I'm going to either card Rin, or I'm going to card you, or you're going to fight for me, and you're going to help me destroy Yuya, destroy the Lancers, something along those lines. Some people have said maybe he'll duel Yugo, he'll defeat Yugo, Yugo will be absorbed by Yuri. I don't see that happening, because Yuya and Yuto, they get along, they can coexist with each other, except, when they're in Berserk mode. Yuri and Yugo cannot coexist with each other. They hate each other, especially Yugo's feelings towards Yuri, so that would never happen. And I do think that Yuri would duel Yuya. I would actually be really disappointed if that duel didn't happen, or if it was a tag duel, Yuri and Yugo versus Yuya and Yuto. I would love to see something along those lines. But I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. Yuri's a character that I like a lot, and we just have never seen him complete a one-on-one duel. He dueled Yuzu, he was clearly dominating her, and that was it. Yugioh came, interrupted. He dueled Yugioh. That duel seemed pretty even. All the dragons hit. The "we will become one" chant started, which, obviously that's hinting towards something that's the bigger picture here. And then they disappear.
Just to make a dragon.
Yeah, maybe. If they do follow the manga's footsteps, that's definitely maybe the direction it's heading. But it'll definitely be interesting. Now, the last topic here is something that I was going to see if we had enough time for. We're about 38, 39 minutes through, so we'll talk about this. I don't want this to exceed an hour. I know you guys, if you're still listening, we appreciate it as always, and I hope you're working on a big comment that you can leave focusing on all these different topics, because, of course...
Hopefully you're like me.
All three of us would, right, they already have Legendary's approval, so we'll see if they give you their blessing, Sam, but hopefully all three of...
Les love me.
All three of us are definitely interested to
I'll
see
turn you into a card.
To see what you guys have to say. So, the last topic here, I'm going to start with you, Legendary. It's just that it seems we have a brainwashed Ruri versus Shun. We have a brainwashed Rin versus Yugioh. I guess you could make a theory on who maybe brainwashed Serena would verse, whether it's Shingo or Reiji, but we'll leave that to the people in the comments. That's not what I want to talk about. Do you think a Yuya versus brainwashed Yuzu should happen? Do you think it will happen? And if it does happen, what are your expectations for that duel?
I think that would be great if it would happen. It never registered to me before, but now that Yuzu has been officially kidnapped and is being taken back to Academia, Serena's already possessed, all the other three girls are possessed. If she's going back there, she's most likely going to get possessed. So I would really like to see that. That would be really good and an emotional duel, and that would be great because that way we get to see a Yuzu duel as well as her versus Yuya, and she's possessed. She's evil in this sense. So that would be a very emotional duel for both Yuya and Yuzu, and it'd be kind of like a bittersweet kind of reunion, because they get back together, but she's possessed and they're dueling. So, and that would be really great. I just want to see her duel again. But for story purposes, I think that would be really awesome and a bit of a plot twist maybe. Although at this point it might be a little predictable, just because all the other girls are brainwashed, and she's gone back, and she's most likely brainwashed too. But I think it's definitely a huge possibility that would happen, and I would definitely be looking forward to that duel.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Sam, do you have anything you want to add to that? What are your thoughts on? Do you think it'll happen, and do you want it to happen? What are your thoughts? Like, what do you think maybe the outcome would be?
Of course, I want it to happen. It would be absolutely awesome. But I do not see it happening.
Really?
Number one, I do not see it happening in the slightest. Really? Number one, Yuya would probably go all berserk mode before Yuzu even went all possessed mode, which is just something. But I personally feel that Yuzu is probably the one that can't be affected by that sort of stuff. She seems like she's like the pinnacle. She seems like she's the most powerful of the Braces girls, with the biggest backstory, the biggest history, and I feel that she's probably her bracelet or something, or even a new dragon or something. I feel it would stop the Professor from controlling her specifically. Serena, we know, has always been loyal to the Professor. Rin, as Dylan said in one of his videos, had really nobody other than Yugioh, so she had no reason, and since Yugioh wasn't coming at all to save her, there was no reason. Ruri's just innocent, she would believe anything, at least that's what it looks like, but I feel Yuzu would either the bracelet would shine or something, or she might even just go have a funny moment where she just gets out her paper fan or something. That'd be funny as hell. But no, I don't see it happening. It would be absolutely awesome if it did, but I don't see it.
Well, that's definitely...
As well, the Professor is probably... Sorry.
No, you're good,
probably see... The Professor, he cares about Serena, he cares about Rin, and he cares about Ruri, but it looks to him that Yuzu, he even sees Yuzu, is the most important one. And he probably wouldn't want to risk her either being carded, or even die or something, or even go unconscious or something, or for the bracelet to do something out of the world, I don't think he's gonna risk that. It would be not worth it just to beat Yugioh when he already has all 4 bracelet girls. He just needs to get them in one area with that giant green machine, and then he can do what he needs to do. It just would not be worth it in his opinion, probably for him, in my opinion.
Well, it's actually scary that you say that, because now that I kind of realize that he is that close to achieving his goals, he literally has all 4 girls, and if he gets them in that green room, yeah, I mean, unless there's an ulterior motive, which I think maybe he might need all 4 U-boys in Berserk mode to become one with that chant that was going on, but that's a theory in itself. If there is no ulterior motive, he literally has, when the plane lands and Serena and Yuzu get to the academy, he literally has all the girls, which is actually a very, very unnerving thought. It didn't really hit me until you just said it there, Sam, and put it into words.
Unless Ruri and Rin get taken away by Shun and Yuko,
right?
If that happens, you'll probably get everybody to kill Shun.
Well, I'll say that, and it seems based on this cast list in 118 that Rin is going to be separated from Yugo again, so maybe the plane's going to land, they're going to pull Rin out of there, they're going to pull Rory out of there, or they're going to willingly...
Possibly even the brainwash thing.
Exactly, they're going to willingly do it because they're brainwashed. So that'll definitely be interesting to keep an eye on. But me personally, just to wrap things up here, I would love to see it. I think there's a good possibility that it will happen. Apparently it's a duel that a lot of people, and even though you don't think it will happen, Sam, I know you just said you really want to see it. Legendary, you said you want to see it as well. So I really do hope it happens. Will it happen?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't known to cater to its fans. If
That's
they
true.
did that, we wouldn't have one episode Rin, one episode Ruri, Jack not appear, we wouldn't have Yuri disappear. They probably think, you're just a bunch of people watching it illegally online. We don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could be true as well. So, that pretty much, though, wraps it up, guys. Thank you to the audience, first of all, for sitting through this. And
thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, really.
Super fun.
Really means a lot. And I'm going to let these two say their piece, and then I'll give the final outro. Legendary Duels, if you want to start, tell them what you do on YouTube. Tell them where to find you. Obviously, you can find his channel in the description below, but you can give your outro, Legendary. And then Legendary, once you wrap things up, Sam, YugiMon Cards, you can give your outro on what you do and your YouTube channel and all that stuff. So, Legendary, you can kick things off right here.
All right, cool. Well, once again, thanks for Dylan from now Yugioh Everything and Clueless Gamers. I really appreciate you having me on this discussion. It was super fun. I can't wait to have another group discussion. That should be really fun and interesting. So come visit my channel at Legendary Duels, where we do character deck profiles as official as we possibly can. And we have character duels. We do Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 reviews. We do these podcasts. And many future segments that we're going to plan on doing in the future. But that's like the main bulk of the channel, character duels and character decks. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on again. I really appreciate it. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys with my catchphrase, gotcha!
I am YugiMon Cards. I've been taking a break from YouTube because I've been working on some more stuff. I've got to be doing theories, top 10s, Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm also launching, would it be okay if I were to promote my new channel, Dylan?
Absolutely.
It would be totally fine.
Absolutely.
If you like Pokemon, I'm mostly a Pokemon channel. I'll be at Spatial Mewtwo doing top 10s, theories, all that cool jazz. And I'll be probably doing some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos on my YugiMon Cards channel. I've been mostly doing just TCG stuff for about 3 years or something. Getting a bit stale, and this has just proven to be more that I want to join this community and become like Dylan in Legendary Duels, because it's absolutely awesome. Again, Dylan, thank you so much for inviting me on. I can't wait to possibly do it again. It's been an absolute blast. Also, thanks to you, Legendary Duels. It's been super fun meeting you and talking to you and doing this sort of stuff. And thank you to the audience for watching, and hopefully you do enjoy me. If you want me to leave, I'll leave. Yes, won't hurt my feelings, but I'll live. Anyway, I'll give it back to Dylan now.
All right, thank you guys so much. And again, thank you both for having me on, and you're welcome for me inviting you guys on, even though that just made me sound extremely arrogant and cocky. But thank you guys both so much. And more importantly, thank you guys for watching, because it's really, you guys are really the people that keep the Yu-Gi-Oh community strong. I mean, we're just 3 fans of the anime, but it's the hundreds of you that are watching at home and the hundreds of you that are commenting down below your theories and your food for thought topics. So there was a lot of really fun things we talked about here. Every time a big batch of spoilers comes out, I'm going to have maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 people come on. This was a good mini way to kind of work up, get the flow better, and I kind of acted as more of the host than anything else, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and check these 2 out, absolutely. Links will all be in the description below. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.